Good morning, everyone. I hope y'all are doing great. I'm Jackie Bonanno with JB Communications and Shop Local Nola. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, but I do want to ask everyone to throw into the chat. I'd like to know what kind of social media you use personally. So if you could drop that into the chat. Do I have any TikTok users? The funny thing is that I recently saw a survey and it said, what is the worst question you can hear from a client as a social marketer? And the top answer was, let's do TikTok. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today as well. All right. Let's get started. We are recording this session, so we will be posting it on the Shop Local Nola website for everyone to have access to later on. So if you don't want to take notes, you're more than happy. We'll more than happy share this presentation with you. And if you have any questions as we go along, if you throw it into the chat, we're going to save some time at the end to address those questions. As I mentioned, I'm Jackie Bonanno with JB Communications, and we founded Shop Local Nola during COVID. And with Shop Local Nola, that was a project that my team and I came up with because there were a lot of small businesses struggling during COVID. So this was our project. We used our time and our resources to pull together a program that small businesses could utilize to become more relevant during the pandemic and share current information with their public and their consumers. And so it was really a free resource initiative that we offered to businesses. Well, Shop Local Nola has expanded greatly, and we were giving a lot of free advice to small businesses and helping them through the pandemic. So this presentation is the first of many to come. We'll be utilizing these sessions to train and give updated information on marketing, social media, and we will have other insights into areas such as taxes and law and all kinds of questions that our business owner community has been looking for answers for. So we want to be a resource for you as a business owner or a marketer. So with that being said, we felt like social media was an area that we received a ton of questions on from various vendors, because there's been so many changes, especially now that more people are utilizing social media to receive information, especially during COVID. And I wanted to say post-COVID, but it looks like, with this resurgence, we need to kind of go back to communicating with our with our public in more digital ways. So let's get started. And we're going to go ahead and assume that you have a plan for your business. A very robust marketing plan is essential for any business, no matter how large or small you are. You need a direction, you need a roadmap for where you want to go and who your targets are. And one of the things with social media, a lot of times in business strategies and marketing plans, I'll see a social media plan, just we need to do social media and throw a little budget at it. But I'm here to tell you that social media it can be very complicated. And it's really important that, number one, you realize your business does not need to be on every single one of them. When we take a look at marketing strategies, like if we'll come in later on, we'll find out from a potential client or a new client, oh, well, I'm on Pinterest and I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. And it's a whole laundry list of different platforms. And really, you need to plan for your target. And so we're going to focus a little bit on that today. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get in the next slide. Okay, so when you're developing a social media strategy, you really need to answer these three questions. Which platforms appeal to my target demographic? If you're appealing to, a 55 plus market and you're wasting time on TikTok, you're wasting your time. So what we're going to take a look at, which social media targets which types of demographics. And again, you'll have these resources available to you when you're making your social media plan. The next thing that you need to focus on is what post types work on this platform. Again, I mentioned TikTok, it's a video platform. So if you're utilizing TikTok and you're just posting, I don't know, a still image and such, it's not going to work. So you really need to focus on post types. And we're going to kind of give you some insights on different types of content and how that works on different platforms. And then the next thing is how can I make my content unique and engaging? So we'll give you some tips on creativity, creative ideas and unique content and some tools that you can use to make the job a little bit easier for you. So with that being said, before I get into all of the tips and tricks, it's really important to focus on social media facts. And here's a little timeline of how social media and the internet kind of has grown in the past several years. So if you take a look over here, Google was invented before the year 2000. So you can imagine the past 2 decades, how fast that search engine has grown and has really put MSN and other leaders in the search world to rest. And throughout the years, you had LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm only hitting on some of the big ones. In 2005, you had YouTube. 2006, there was Twitter, and that's the little Waze app. Waze has actually been around since 2006. And then Bing came along in 2009. And then as you can see right here, when Pinterest and Instagram popped up, they made a name for themselves. And eventually Facebook bought Instagram and really accelerated the social media app. And then you've got your Snapchat, and TikTok came in around 2016 in the US. So you can see how quickly these things have grown. We're keeping an eye on Parler, which kind of popped up in 2018 and didn't become popular until the election last year. And then Clubhouse, which is a different social media. It's more of an audio type platform. And it's really important to kind of take a look at these historical mile marks, because what you see is maybe some social media platforms that have entered and have exited very quickly. They might make a real big name for themselves quickly, and then they're either bought out or another app comes along and makes them obsolete. So let's take a look at today's social power players. We've got YouTube, which is owned by Google. We've got Facebook and Instagram, which were owned by Facebook. We have TikTok, which is owned by ByteDance. LinkedIn is Microsoft. And then we have Twitter, Snapchat, and Pinterest. So these are the ones that are drawing the most attention from possibly your target market. And we're going to get into a little bit of nitty gritty about what your primary demographic is for each of these platforms. But here you can pay attention to the number of active worldwide users, how much time that these users are spending on these individual platforms. Some of these are staggering. For example, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it's almost an hour a day. And when you get into like LinkedIn, you're looking at maybe 6 minutes, and Twitter like 3 minutes. So the time that people spend on these platforms is something that you need to pay attention to, because if you're paying to advertise, or if you're spending a lot of time trying to organically make an impression on a particular platform, your audience, for example, LinkedIn, Twitter, aren't spending a whole lot of time there. So just kind of keep this in mind as we move forward. Now, I wanted to show you all in 2018, this study was done, or these statistics were pulled up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and Snapchat were the ones being watched in 2018. That was a short 2.5 years ago. And so you can take a look from 2016 to 2018. These are more accurate numbers. 2019 and 2020 were simply projections at this time. So you can see Facebook has clearly dominated, and they continue to do so. And we're going to get into the 2020 information very shortly, because COVID certainly made some revisions to this. It certainly affected it. So if you take a look at this, you can see Facebook has been holding steady with slow growth. And then Twitter has seen a little bit of a decline, and your Instagram has grown quite a bit. A lot of that has to do with Facebook and the revisions that has been made to Instagram. And then YouTube has continually grown. So with YouTube, not only do you have YouTube organic, you also have people subscribing to YouTube channels, so people are spending more time on YouTube. And then again with Pinterest, Pinterest has had a bit of a growth. In 2018, they were at 32%. And then Snapchat has grown relatively quickly. And again, let's think about Snapchat and their demographic. It's mostly younger teenagers and very young adults. So I told you that I'd make a TikTok is something that we hear from our clients from time to time. Let's do a TikTok. We kind of chuckle at it, especially when it's a client that doesn't appeal to the teenage market. So just a little bit about TikTok. TikTok was designed and created by ByteDance, which is it's a Chinese company. And they really made their debut into the United States in 2017 when they purchased Musical.ly. So Musical.ly was an app that was fairly popular with the younger generation, teenagers, young 20s. Well, what happened in 2018 is TikTok migrated all of those Musical.ly app users. It was like over 200 million into the TikTok app. So they were forced to move over. So right now, TikTok's monthly active users have grown from 11 million in 2018 to 100 million in 2020. And that's a lot of growth. And a lot of that is contributed to the attention that TikTok, had created through the election. Also, a lot of people being home, a lot of teenagers not being able, and 20-year-olds not being able to socialize in a normal way during COVID. So there was a lot of time being spent on TikTok. So currently there are 65.9 million users in the US, and they are primarily under 29 years old. So if your target market, and this is what we tell our clients, if your target market is not 29 and under, don't waste your time on TikTok. Let's see where it goes. These users are going to grow. A few years ago, one of the big strategies that these app users start is the app is free, it's ad free, it's user friendly, let's have fun. Well, the bottom line is all these apps are in the business to make a profit. And if it's not just making a profit, it's information mining so that they can utilize the information to sell to marketers. And that's what we do. We market to these individuals. So anyway, one more thing about TikTok. A lot of the controversy around collecting data, that was brought to the attention in 2020 is primarily because ByteDance's primary product, I think it's called Tuatao, it translates to headlines, and it's really a cross between a search engine and a social media platform. And it is information mining, and ByteDance's primary product is all about the technology and information mining and delivering personalized content. So just kind of keep that in mind. So that's why some people are afraid to utilize TikTok. And I think a lot of adults haven't embraced it because of the amount of time that it takes. And they don't want to spend a lot of time on it, and possibly information mining. That's just my personal opinion. So in 2019, this kind of gives you a snapshot. This is a Nielsen rating as to how much time people spent on linear TV. Linear TV is network TV. It's like you turn on WWL, WDSU, and you just watch programming. So the average age for linear TV in 2019 was 56 years old. That's a really high age. There's a lot of cable cutters out there, as many of you know. So this was an interesting slide that I wanted to show you. Again, COVID changed some of this for us. So when we talk about competition for free time, this gives you an idea. This is all internet users and how much time they spend on each type of medium. So broadcast radio, you can see all internet users, it's around 54 minutes. The 16 to 24 age group might be 30, it was around 39 minutes. Gaming consoles, you can see that's well over an hour. Music streaming, I want you to focus on social media. This is before COVID. This is in 2018. You're looking at 2 hours and 22 minutes for all internet users spending on social media. That's a lot of time per day. The 16 to 24-year-olds, over 3 hours. It's staggering. So I just wanted to kind of give you a background about this. One of the other things that I wanted to point your attention to, because we're going to address this shortly, is online press, people going online and reading their news. That was a little over an hour for both demographics. And then if you look at print press, you know, all of our newspapers and publications, the print they're really struggling right now because people aren't spending a lot of time on that. It's actually one of the lower. So let's talk about the COVID effect on social media. 500 million consumers joined social media in 2020. That's a 13% increase. That's huge. Social media usage actually increased by 7 minutes a day. So that's overall usage. Now, Facebook, you see how the average monthly visits is like 25, what is that, billion? So that change from 2019, that was a 3% change. That is the lowest change because these individuals, these 25 billion plus people, have been utilizing Facebook pre-COVID. So when you increase your it's just a small increase, it's because people are already using the medium. They're in the habit of using that medium. Then you look at Twitter. Twitter, the amount of time, the amount of usage grew by 36% from 2020. Instagram grew 43%, and TikTok grew 576%. It blew up. It blew up. So I think that's a big reason why a lot of clients hear about TikTok and they might want to do TikTok. But I'm going to re-emphasize the majority of TikTok users are under 29 years old. So let's keep that in mind. Now, I found this to be an interesting little study. In July 2020, a social listening company called Brandwatch had recorded a tremendous number of users threatening and verbalizing the desire to cancel all of their social media accounts. They were tired of it. They're at home, they're spending too much time on it. They're stressed about elections, and people were really mean to each other online. It wasn't fun. So people threatened to delete the social media accounts, but according to the company's data, the majority of them didn't follow through. And you can see by these staggering numbers of the number of changes going on. So let's look at social media predictions today. So you can take a look at TikTok here. TikTok has started in 2019 with 17% of social network users utilizing it. And it has grown here, and we're in 2021. 2021 is a projection because we're not through the year. It has grown. You see the huge leap to 34%. Well, it looks like it's going to level off a bit because the projections for 2024 is at 39%. Now, if you take a look at Instagram, Instagram is another one to watch. It's looking at, we're at 52.6% in 2019. Today, we're projecting around 55%. And it is also going to show a slow growth. So Instagram is one to keep an eye on. Snapchat, we're suspecting that Snapchat, again, very popular with the younger generation, is starting to lose its luster a little bit. because the younger demographic likes to hop around social media, have fun, no ads, communicate with their friends, communicate without their parents watching. They're always looking for the newest and greatest thing. So we will be keeping an eye on Snapchat as well. The top 10, this is more recent data. The top types of websites visited and apps used: social networks is at 96%, chat or messaging platforms at 95%. That's higher than search engines or web portals. So your search engines are at 84. I found this interesting because sometimes we have to justify the importance of social media and why you should spend time on social media. And if you have a boss or a client that is considering social media and don't understand the value of it, show them this. Let's see. So the reasons for using social media, this is what I want you to pay attention to as well. You want the majority of the people, 36.5%, utilize social media to stay up to date with news and current events. The next thing that they look at is 35% find funny and entertaining. They look for funny or entertaining content. They go to social media for content. And then, to fill up spare time and to stay in touch with friends. So when you're considering your social media content, just make sure you pay attention to that. Media channels used for news. I told you that I brought up news because a lot of locals like to stick with local news. And I just want to jump over to this online media, including social media. 82% of the public are utilizing social media for their news. That's pretty staggering. Television and broadcasts are at 64%. A few years ago, television was the #1 place that people would go. Television and print, and you can see how print has dropped off significantly. Okay, so use of social media platforms as sources of news. People are primarily going to Facebook. That's where they get their news. Twitter used to be a great news source for a demographic, but Twitter is just kind of sitting there and not doing a whole lot as far as its growth. People are utilizing Facebook primarily, and then secondary YouTube. So let's get into our planning. First thing you need to do is choose wisely. The very first thing that I said at this beginning of this presentation is you do not need to be everywhere. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You need to focus on the social media platforms where your target audience spends the most time. Again, focus on the social media platforms where your target audience spends the most time. Developing content and planning for social media, most of you know that do it already, it's extremely time consuming. So let's talk a little bit about where your target demographic is. This is an updated 2021 report as to where different demographics are spending time on social media. So this will be super helpful for you because if your business targets women ages 30 to 49, you can see that the primary top three social media that you should be spending time on is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So we want to plan intelligently. So what you want to do is plan your social calendar with content once a month, but don't forget to stay flexible. The easiest thing for you to do is to set a time, set a half a day, depending on the amount of social content that you need to plan. Once a month, set it aside and build your calendars and build your content. And I say don't forget to stay flexible, because as things change, or if you want to share news, the current news that's going on, or comment on things that are going on, you need to stay flexible. We had to be very flexible when COVID hit, because we had our calendars planned for March 2020 and we had to throw everything out the window by the 12th. So with social media algorithms, social media platforms, they're free for consumers, but the profitability is the end game. They lure their audiences in by having ad-free, fun types of things to do on the social media platform. But what the social media starts to do is they put algorithms in place so that they can start sorting posts based on relevancy and instead of publish time, and they prioritize content to users, and they greatly reduce your organic, especially if you're a business. So if you have 10,000 followers and you post something really cool, maybe 50 people out of the 10,000 will actually see it. So we're going to give you a few tips and tricks on how to get more people to see it organically. But algorithms are a moving target. Flexibility and adaptability are the key. You need to stay consistent with your strategies and pay attention to the trends. And you constantly need to analyze your analytics and, are your posts receiving as much engagement as your past posts? Instagram, not too long ago, made some major algorithm changes to the news feed. So it's really easy to switch your strategy to adding your information to Instagram stories where that algorithm wasn't affected. So stay informed and keep up to date with what's going on in social media. So tools of the trade, we've got research, budget, and scheduling. We're going to save content to the end because I have my content master that's going to share some tips with you. So first of all, research. Keep your research current. You need to make sure that you review your competitor information, and we'll show you how to do that. You can do that through platform ad transparency information, and you can also utilize competitor analysis software. You need to pay attention to trends. You need to research your hashtags, and you need to join relevant social media groups or communities. And if you don't see one that you like, create one yourself. So you also want to make sure that you install social media tracking pixels onto your website. And again, please review your analytics regularly. So here's an example of how you can find what's going on in Facebook and LinkedIn. So with Facebook, you are actually able to go into Facebook and go onto your individual, if you're looking at, for example, MailChimp, you can go into there and actually go to their website, and there's a button that you can actually view transparency and take a look at the ads that they're running. In LinkedIn, you can go over to the posts, and then you can click ads and actually see what ads are running on that individual's LinkedIn account. So what is a hashtag? A hashtag is utilized to organize, promote, and grow your following, and to further share your content. So make sure that you do your hashtag research, and make sure you monitor your hashtag. And you should be utilizing hashtags that are popular within your topic or within your industry or business, but you should also create your own unique hashtag so that you can build a growth and promote your sites and such. So primarily hashtags are most beneficial on platforms such as Twitter and Instagram. Groups and communities. So one of the things that has helped us reach more people organically for the businesses that we represent is we join and we encourage our clients to join groups or communities on social media. And you should really post as yourself or your company. LinkedIn will not let you join a group as a company. You can join just as yourself. But what it does is it positions you and your company as a potential expert. You can share important posts to those communities. It helps you establish and build important relationships, and it encourages sharing and engagement in conversations about your product or services. So it gives you outlets to network in many different ways. So with budget, there's a few tricks. You need to promote your posts, especially if you utilize platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Some people say, oh, well, I've had clients say, well, we're really a B2B type business and we shouldn't, our audience isn't on Facebook. Well, I just want to share with you that 90% of LinkedIn users have an active Facebook account. So keep that in mind. LinkedIn's very expensive to advertise on, and if you don't know what you're doing, it could be catastrophic to your budget. So there's plenty of opportunity to utilize other social media platforms to do it less expensively. So when after you determine your budget to promote your posts, you want to promote ads or posts with a call to action. You want to call, visit website, sign up, have them do something, encourage your audience to do something. Don't spend all of your budget on building followers. We have lots of clients that want to build their follower base, and they don't understand the algorithms. So just because you're posting doesn't mean that all of those followers are seeing your organic posts. They want you to pay for it. So utilize A/B testing to determine your best headlines, your content, and your targeting, and that's all relative to ads. Save a small percentage of your monthly budget to add to better performing ads. So don't forget to use tags and posts to expand your reach and engagement, and make sure you share your posts with relevant groups. So just an FYI on tags, most of you may know this already. If you put the ampersand sign in front and identify who you're talking about or who is relevant within a particular post, that actually encourages sharing and adds to their news feed depending on their settings. Social media boost versus ads manager. A lot of people just want to quickly go and hit boost on Facebook or Instagram to promote their post. We feel like it's a big mistake. It's a shortcut. It only allows you to really focus on a limited number of actions. For example, focusing on website clicks, page engagement, and local business promotions. But the full ads system in Ads Manager is so much more robust and customizable. So Twitter, LinkedIn, other social media platforms, they all have an advertising dashboard. It's always better to utilize the advertising dashboard instead of the boost function. Here's a quick example. This is what Ads Manager looks like. You can see that your marketing objective has many different opportunities. Whereas if the boost here, you hit a boost post, it gives you some options, but it's very limited. So scheduling tricks. Okay, so remember I told you it's a great idea just to set aside time once a month to schedule, to think about what you're going to do for the following month. Well, you want to utilize social media platform schedulers to schedule your posts for the month. And if you're using multiple platforms, you may want to think about investing in a scheduling software. There's plenty of them out there. You also want to experiment with different times of the day for posting. There's a lot of articles about when people spend their most time on social media. But again, with COVID and this work from home, you can just throw all of that out of the water. You're going to have to do your own experimentation with your own target audience in your own target market. And I want you to remember, don't forget to measure and analyze results regularly. And you also want to make sure that you check to make sure that your posts have actually posted. Sometimes you schedule it and it doesn't actually post because things get disconnected. Just monitor your posts, not only to make sure that they've posted, but also monitor for comments and engagement. Because reputation management, keeping an eye and responding and hiding or deleting or responding to comments, keeps your page clean and positive. And it also shows the rest of the world that you're engaged. Here's an example of a monthly social calendar. We spend time every month for all of our clients creating the content, creating the images, and then we put it into a scheduler. So just keep your content short and sweet, and just remember that, the most important words for your content are really the first short sentence. So you also want to make sure that that you focus on imagery and written content. So I'm going to turn this presentation over to Claire. I know that it's already 11:45, so just make sure you put your comments in the chat section, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end to answer your questions directly. Claire could possibly, stay on a little bit longer if there are some specific questions. So I want to make sure that you put your questions in chat, and we will certainly, if we don't answer it during this presentation, we'll certainly email you an answer. So Claire, I'm going to turn this over to you. We're just going to shift computers, and you got to put right there.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. My name is Claire Holohan. I'm the marketing manager here at JB Communications and the social media marketer at Shop Local Nola. Let's get started on content. Let's see. So let's get started on content. I work primarily in content generation. I map out the social media calendars, write that content, and then give some directives to our graphic designers as to how to do the most compelling artwork to pair with the written content. So let's start with a couple of tricks. You want to prepare content that best serves each platform. So what does this mean? That does mean that there are, as we've reviewed before, different demographics for different platforms, but also different sizing requirements. Facebook has a different sizing requirement than Instagram, than Twitter, and there's nothing that looks sloppier than having a picture that's too big or too small or is stretched for one of your business posts. You want to post regularly with branded content. Most social media experts advise 2 to 3 times per week for a business and no more than once a day. You don't want to flood your consumer feed or overwhelm them. That's how to get unfollowed, but you do want to stay in front of their eyes and keep their attention throughout the week and the month. Make sure that your content, if it's original content, is branded. So it has your logo on it, something that's recognizable and uses the same consistent coloring and tones and whatever is in your business branding guidelines. You want to use a mix of content, video, graphics, polls, features, events, deals, contests, and these all feed into the algorithm and the diverse materials that you're providing. Video in particular has skyrocketed in popularity over the last year with people being at home and COVID and looking at their phones. And in fact, Cisco predicts that internet traffic from videos will make up 82% of internet traffic by 2022. So make sure to utilize quality visual content. Facebook posts with images see 2.3 times more engagement than those without images. All right, and so you already reviewed before some of the different demographics for these different platforms. So this is a fun cheat chart to see what your audience is going to be sharing or most likely to share. Something we thought was most interesting is that the like non-coronavirus news was shared less frequently than stuff that like funny videos. So just you can always come back to this and reference it for your materials. So video content. We have a whole slide on this because it is definitely skyrocketed. Video views have increased by 99% on YouTube and 258% on Facebook. It's just a massive increase, and a tweet containing a video is 6 times more likely to be retweeted. So the thing about the algorithm is platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn know now the types of posts that are viewed the most and get the most momentum and popularity and engagement. And so they will give you more attention and show you to more people if they believe that your posts are going to get more engagement. So following patterns like this, like increases in popularity with video, will help you get seen more frequently through organic views. Definitely take advantage of Facebook and YouTube for events, especially YouTube Live. You can see a video of your event in live time and people can comment. Another thing about videos are subtitles. 85% of people on social media play video without sound, so it's really important to use subtitles. It's also necessary for people with hearing impairments. It's for a myriad of reasons. Have them so people can understand what's in your content. Finally, if you are creating your own videos, you have a lot of options here. Even you don't need a huge high budget studio if you have a ring light, a tripod, a microphone, and a well scripted, well organized video where you can engage with your audience. Let's see. We do have an example for you here from Shop Local Nola. This was one of our holiday deal sponsors, and we were able to just do a video showing the interior of their store and what they're offering. And this just took a microphone, a camera, and it's a great way to get engagement in a short period of time. Finally, budget. Jackie reviewed budget a little bit before. Ad campaigns do require a little bit of budget in order to get the engagement that you're looking for, but it is easy to stretch. If you know who to target, your target demographics, your area, and the kind of materials that you're putting a little bit of money on. So this is an example of a video ad campaign that we ran. This reached 40,000 people. At least 2,000 people viewed it for more than 3 seconds, and it garnered over 100 clicks to the actual website. And this was from a budget of less than $50. This does take work and practice because you want to be targeting the right people, your demographic, your audience, your target area. And you know, it varies based on time and the materials that you're presenting. All right. Now that has covered it for me for content, but now it's time for us to go over questions. Fantastic. All right, so I'm looking at your chat. Oh, everybody put in what they use personally. This is great. I see a lot of Facebook, a lot of LinkedIn, a lot of Instagram. What about Nextdoor? Oh, okay, this is a great question. All right. Uh, Nextdoor is a lot of fun, especially for small businesses. Well, I say fun loosely. Um, as a small business, we do recommend monitoring Nextdoor, especially in your area, and keeping an eye on it. It is a good platform to engage with your audience, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a like promotional marketing platform, more as a way for you to connect with people and keep an eye on.
I'm going to slide in here and just add to that, Denise. Nextdoor does have advertising opportunities. It can get expensive, but if you do it wisely, you can certainly use it to your advantage. Nextdoor is great for service type industries like home services, like maybe a pest control company or a repair type service, lawn cutting. And it's also really good for stores in the neighborhood. So, as Claire mentioned, once you get on Nextdoor, you need to monitor it because people can be extremely vicious on Nextdoor, commenting on things, and we certainly would like, Nextdoor can be cost effective, but it has to be monitored. So I'm gonna turn this back over to Claire.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Charles, yes, if you're asking about us specifically, we do ads for small businesses. We're a full service agency, and we do ads through Google, any sort of digital marketing, like social media, Google, all print, everything. And let's see, I want to know if anyone has success with Nextdoor. Everybody, from our experience, a lot of people have had different experiences with Nextdoor. As Jackie said before, people can be vicious, and it takes constant monitoring. It takes a lot of energy, especially if you're a small business owner. Alrighty, yes, and got over 8 views, 3 gigs, no calls. Oh, Sherry, this is a great example of an ad, because so in Facebook and in Google, you can decide what kind of campaign you want your ad to be. So this you can make it a call only ad. You can say that you want more engagement, like people to give it a thumbs up or comment or share. You can direct people to click to your website. So once you give one of these digital marketing platforms a goal, then you can go forward. So I see that you had a budget. You got a decent amount of views on that budget, but you said you didn't get any calls. And so that's when the finessing and finagling of starting with a campaign and directing your customers to do a specific act comes in handy. All right. Is it true Facebook doesn't prefer visit website? So we've seen success with Facebook with websites, but it does take, as I said before, a specific targeting. So I wouldn't say that it would be wildly successful if you just did a blanket ad and said, I'm targeting everyone in the United States. You would probably see a little less success there, but you can absolutely we've seen a lot of success with link clicks, especially directly to the website or direct forms. We say fewer clicks, the better. So if you want customers to come straight to a form, then take them directly to that page to get them where you want them to be.
I've got one more thing to add to Sherry's question. Is it true Facebook doesn't prefer visit website? They like you to stay within their platform. Obviously, they're pretty stingy like that, but you need to give your target a reason to visit the website. If you're just saying, come view my wares on the website, they're not going to click. And one of the things that Facebook, does with their algorithms is they're going to target your ad. If your goal is visiting the website, they're going to target the algorithm of people who are most likely to click that button. And most consumers out there are just not going to visit a website just to kind of check you out. You've got to give them a reason. Is it a sale? Is it a product? Is it, more information on something important? So make sure that there is a reason.
Fantastic. Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions for us they want to type into the chat that we can answer? All right.
All right, great. Thank you all for joining us, and please follow the website and Shop Local Nola's social media to learn more about upcoming events. We are planning another event in September that we're excited to announce. It's just a little premature. So thank you for joining us today. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and please stay safe out there, and look for this presentation to be uploaded to shoplocalnola.com as well as jbcommunications.net. Thanks, everyone.